Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. And for everyone watching right now, if you can share this video and this channel and help support the awesome bands I feature. And today I'm here with Silent Theory. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you. Now, you want to start off by giving us a little brief history about the band?
Sure, yeah. Silent Theory was technically formed in 2010 and was started by my brothers George and Scott and I, and then family friend Robert James. Let's see, we got signed, we did an album, released a singer. We brought in Dakota in 2014, and then ended up writing and recording the album Delusions. Have done a few tours since then for music videos, had some success on the radio, some success on YouTube, and here we are.
Awesome. Now, your new single, 6 Feet Under, want to tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so it's probably the most pointed or literal song that Dakota has written. If you're familiar with our catalog of tunes, we typically will write in themes, but we'll leave it somewhat obscure so that the listeners can take from it whatever they want. With 6 Feet Under, it was a little more pointed, so it really didn't take like much imagination to like hear literally what we were writing about. It's been interesting though, because when you first listen to it, I think a lot of people think that the song is about gun control. And it's not about gun control at all. In fact, the members in our band owns guns. It's more of like, it was written during the marathon of mass shootings, and it was more of written about a response or lack of a response to the mental health that's led to those. So it's been interesting. We've had a lot of people who have really enjoyed the song and enjoyed the lyric video, but we've certainly had our critics as well to say, like, you know, gun control is not the answer, and it's like it's not what we wrote it about. So it's interesting. I don't know. It was definitely a turn in our writing for sure. I mean, we're proud of it, obviously, but yeah, the response has been interesting.
Now, I see you got the lyric video. Is that the actual official video, or are you doing another video, or is that the video?
Yeah, not sure. So actually, we had recorded. So that is the official lyric video. We had recorded 6 Feet Under a while ago, and we had planned on just adding it to our upcoming album. We weren't planning on releasing it as a single or doing anything separate with it. But when COVID hit and we all went into lockdown, the live gigs stopped, the touring stopped. I went to the guys and I basically was like, hey, we're kind of just sitting here doing nothing at this point, right? And I want to do something to keep us relevant. And so that's when we decided, well, hey, we've got 6 Feet Under. Why don't we just move forward with a single on it? And that's what we ended up doing. So Dakota actually lives in California, and the rest of us are located in Washington and Idaho. And so that's why we ended up doing a lyric video and not an actual music video for it, was because he was in lockdown in California and we couldn't get him up here to film. And so we decided to just, try our hand at a lyric video, and that's what we did. So maybe we'll do an actual official video for it someday, but we haven't really decided yet. So right now we just have the lyric video.
And can you give us any details on the upcoming album, like some of the themes of the record, style of music?
Yeah, so we tend to really gravitate toward our writing toward issues that we're seeing a lot of. So for example, we have released a few songs already that will be on this album. For example, Before the Storm. And Before the Storm was written about the opioid crisis. So it's one of those things, like, we just kind of like, we write what's around us, or we write what we're seeing. So I think this album will be somewhat similar to Delusions, not necessarily musically, but theme-wise, as far as things like mental illness, drug addictions, some of those dark paths that I think plague a lot of people and a lot of people can relate to. I think that'll probably be the underlying message of this next album as well. So, yeah.
Nice. Now, there's a lot going on in the world right now, currently. Do you think that's going to inspire some songs with all the protests, the virus, everything going on?
I do, for sure. Dakota's our main lyricist. And like I said, he kind of just writes what's around him. And so we actually talked today. We had a meeting with him today because Scott and I had gotten together to work out some new music for the album. And so we hopped on a call with him, and he's got like notebooks full of lyrics just ready to go. So I definitely think that you'll see something out of what's just happening in the world somewhere in our music for sure.
Now, how have you guys been handling the quarantine time?
You know, we're all getting a lot of house projects done. It's been interesting because, like, you know, as a musician, of course you want to be on the road, you want to be touring, and it's weird to not be doing any of that right now. But flip side, it's been nice to be home with families and stuff. You know, I've got 2 little kids. Scott has a baby as well, and so on that aspect, it's been nice to be home with them. We haven't had this much family time ever, so that's cool. But flip side is, you know, we're musicians. We want to be out there playing and, you know, meeting new people and playing new venues and doing that whole scene. So it's been a little bit tough on that end as far as not being able to do any of that. So I would say it's a lot of family time and a lot of home projects.
Are you going to do any of the virtual shows?
You know, it's funny you ask that because within the last week I've had like 2 or 3 people reach out and ask about the virtual shows. We haven't talked about the virtual shows, and here's why. Unless you get, this is all my opinion, by the way, unless you have like a great production crew behind even doing the live streaming, a lot of it sounds like garbage. And I'm not meaning to disrespect anybody, but I've seen a lot of bands, and I applaud them trying to do it, you know, and to give their fans just anything. But I noticed like they'll set up like an iPhone, and then they'll play a full heavy set, and it just sounds like garbage. And honestly, we're kind of worried that because we're all displaced and we're not really familiar with the live streaming aspect, that it won't sound very good. And so I think our mentality is like, you know, we probably won't do anything and just wait for to be back live. You know, instead of risking trying to do some type of a live stream and it not coming out very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then when we can play live, I guess you're planning on getting back out there as soon as possible?
Yeah, that's the goal for sure, especially because you know, I don't think we're planning on anything live until 2021. Sounds like that just sounds like that's where the scene is moved to. But we will have at this point, we should have the album completely done and released I would say by the end of 2020. So what that'll do for us is in 2021, we'll be able to go on tour to support the new album.
Good, awesome. Now, if people want to find your music, look you up online, how do they do that?
Yeah, we're pretty much anywhere you can get internet connection. You know, we're on you know, we have our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can hear all of our catalog on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, Amazon Music. So anywhere you want to find us that way. We also do have an online web store too. So if you're old school and you still like these like I do, you can just go to silenttheory.com, and then there's a link to our web store, and you can actually still buy CDs. We have Delusions for sale on there, as well as our, you know, the rest of our merch. So pretty much all the streaming and all the social media.
I've seen most of your singles on YouTube have an incredible amount of views, so that's awesome, especially Fragile Minds.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly it. Fragile Minds just kind of took off and really hasn't stopped. We've been really blessed in that sense. And I think because of Fragile Minds has led for the success of the other videos that we've released. So yeah, YouTube's been very good to us.
What do you think made that song blow up so big?
You know, I think, well, good question. I think the feedback we've gotten is that it really hits deep lyrically for a lot of people. I I don't want to give him a big head, especially since he no-showed this interview like a dick. But Dakota is incredible lyricist. I've never seen anybody be able to literally sit and string words as poetically as he does. And there's a lot of times where just on paper you're like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, that's not going to work. And then you hear him sing it, and it's like you can't envision it any other way. And I think that's what happened with Fragile Minds. You know, going again back to the mental illness and people really struggling with anxiety and depression and any, you know, various type of mental illness. I think that's what people really grabbed onto. They finally found a song that were like, hey, I'm not alone, and hey, this song speaks to me. You know, it's been really interesting. It's been kind of eye-opening. We've had a fair share of comments that are basically like, you know, I'm basically on the ledge and I want to jump, but, you know, I heard this song and I got off the ledge. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really deep for musicians to take, right? Like, we're glad our music is helping you, but that's some deep stuff, right? And so I think that's really what made people like Fragile Minds, was that it was so deep lyrically.
Yeah, Fragile Minds, a lot of the other songs, I like how it's open to interpretation. It's not like a straight message for the listener can interpret it in their own different way. So I like
yeah.
So yeah, most of your songs are like that, like you said. Well, besides the new single.
Right. Yeah, we took a gamble with the new single. And we're, like I said, we're proud of it. We know what it means. We know what it was written for. I think most people do. We've tried to put that message out there. But yeah, for the most part, we definitely write not so literal. And then because we want people to take what, you know, we want you to hear one of our songs, and whatever it means to you, that's what it means. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it should mean. And so that's why we leave it so open for interpretation. Like, there will be an underlying theme, but it's, you know, it's not a black and white song, I would say, as far as like knowing exactly what the meaning is. There's a lot of gray area. Yeah.
Now, I know this single just came out. The album's far off. Are you going to be releasing another single anytime coming up before the album comes out? Like,
no, I don't think so, because we've got a myriad of studio dates booked out now, and we're on the tail end of the album. So at this point, 6 Feet Under will probably be the last single that we release, and then the next releases will be the album.
Okay, cool. Awesome. We'll look forward to that coming out. It was good talking with you, and everyone look them up.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.